All right, so I guess we will go ahead and get started with the Finance Subcommittee meeting. Today is the 13th of June, 5:34, and we'll get started. I want to welcome Tim Allen. I just thought I saw Tim. Oh, there's Tim. Counselor Allen, who is part of the Finance Committee. Thank you, Counselor Walsh, for joining, Counselor Fenton, Council President Letterman. Is that all from the council? I think that's it from the counselors for right now. So we'll get started with the first item on the agenda, which is certified free cash to Stability Reserve Stabilization Fund for $5,841,738. And then they got another zero, but that might be a typo.
So, thank you, Counselor. So right now we have a series of transfers. This is the meeting that we need to address our free cash. So we either put it into stabilization reserves or set it aside or appropriate it for before June 30th. So this is the last meeting before June 30th. So we have $5.8 million to bring our reserves back up to 50 million. Is good as the request for you. We also have a series of other requests. I just want me to do them all and just talk about reserve strategy as a big picture, or if you want to just take each one separately.
You can talk about them all.
Okay. So this one right now, we have the three transfers tonight on the agenda. There's a pension reserve for $1.5 million. That is to get us to start to have a funding available in case we get to a year that is unsustainable in the appropriation. 2.5 million and change to a capital reserve, and that is for what we're going to executive session this evening about for acquiring a couple of properties. And then the final to zero up the remaining free cash, the 5.8 million and change to stabilization reserves to bring our reserve up to 50,096,475.
Does that cover all of the free cash that's left?
Yeah, so I'm actually, we can send out to the council kind of all the free cash transfers we've done throughout fiscal 22. And how all 27 million has been accounted for.
I think that would be helpful. Hold on. You said the 2.5 million was for property acquisitions. Do you have a list of those?
There's two of them. One of them, I don't know how much I can talk about. I don't know if Tom Moore is not on, or Tim Sheehan. I don't know if you've been briefed by.
Is that what we're going into
the
executive session for?
Yeah, the one property is for the executive session in particular.
Right.
I think I could talk about the Sumner Ave acquisition because I have kind of a meeting of the minds with the owner. I was hoping for council to be on to advise otherwise, but what we're trying to do with this fund is not to do the eminent domain taking yet. We're just trying to make sure the funds are there if and when the council decides to take up the eminent domain in the July meeting.
Oh, is that property on Sumner you text me?
There's two properties, one on Sumner Ave, the old Friendlies, and then Tim Sheehan is looking for appropriation to get a parcel on Bruce Landon Way.
22 Falcon Way, which is Bruce Landon Way. It's the surface parking lot.
Okay. All right, and I think we'll talk about that in executive session, so.
Yes, Council.
Okay.
This order is strictly an accounting function. It is to move the free cash from FY22 to make it available in FY23 when we're able to move forward on these projects. So it's not a vote for the project, it's just to move the money so it's still available for us in FY23.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from Councilor Walsh?
Chair, thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of questions. One, I'm not familiar with what the proposal is for the old Friendlies. Is that what we're talking about in an executive session?
I didn't see Friendlies listed as part of the executive session on the agenda. But it's the Friendlies, it's for the parking. Right now, the school department uses the parking there, and
Right.
trying to head off a traffic nightmare if we end up losing the property and we don't have access to the parking. We parked there ever since Friendly's opened up. We've had a great relationship with them.
Right,
The owner acquired it, and then they started to enforce a no parking zone, and we entered into a lease with them to park. And now our lease is month to month, and they're actively looking to sell the building. We, as a city, want to entertain the idea of buying.
I'm sorry, did you say you want to buy the building? Is that what you just said?
We want to buy the building to, mainly for parking, and then I was gonna have economic development kind of do its thing and try to see if there's a creative way to use the building.
Okay, so there's no like new restaurant or anything. There's not that kind of a proposal that everybody in the neighborhood has been hoping there would be the use for that.
So I did ask the owner, when I was having a conversation with him last week. He said he has not had any nibbles or bites for a restaurant at that location. That he was looking for people are looking at are looking for other uses and not the restaurant. Cause I live there too. I'd love to have a nice local restaurant there.
Yeah, it's really amazing, don't you think, that with the amount of cars that go by there and the success of the restaurant in the past, that no takers for a restaurant surprises me.
So, I mean, our desire is to acquire the property and then spend some time trying to figure if there is a person out there that would like to set up a restaurant or some other creative use for it, so.
Oh, well, thank you. I wanted to get back to the free cash. Are you comfortable with that number, the 50 million? I mean, how does that stack up with past years?
Yeah, so 50 million is a good number. I'll be happier when that 40 million gets certified as free cash from Eversource, so we can then, bring the number up higher. But 50 million is, as all the prognosticators are saying, we're heading into a recession. I'm very comfortable with 50 million as our starting point, knowing it's only going to grow for fiscal 22's free cash certification.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Any other questions on those items? All right, seeing none. Budget transfer with number 3, budget transfer within the department. Finance multi-year pay-go funds, $405,584.17.
Yeah, so this is transfer is their current projects that are happening within for FY23's pay-go account, and right now we're looking to shift it back, shift it to what's available to finish the projects in FY23. And there should be in the capital, sir, the breakdown of what those projects are. It's 81,000 for Forestry Operations Center, 14,000 and change for stump grinding equipment that we ordered, 53,000 and change for golf course cart path work that needs to be fixed, 149,200 for Duggan Park, 74,739 for Tiffany Street improvements, and 12,400 for water shops ponds.
What's Tiffany Street improvements?
That's the one we got a grant from MEMA for I guess a washout was happening there, so we had to do some. That's the match from MEMA to do that washout down on Tiffany Street. I wish I had a little more than that for you.
What's the holding accounts?
I think that's for machinery, equipment and machinery. I don't know why it says holding accounts, other than it's the holding account to hold the money until we get the equipment in, but I could double check that.
One is for 78 cents.
That was just cleaning up actually, Counselor, I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me. That was cleaning up old projects that came in kind of under budget, just to clear out the account so we can close it. We have to move the money back.
So you're moving it back to the capital account to pay-go?
Correct.
Okay. I was like 78 cents, that's all they need?
That's probably,
Like, that's a good project right there. Counselor Walsh, is your hand up to speak or from the last time?
Never lowered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions on the pay-go account? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the next, FY 23 EF retained earnings.
So Counselor, this has to be withdrawn. This actually is on for tomorrow. I don't know how it ended up. It's on the Finance Subcommittee meeting agenda and also the agenda tonight. We need it just withdrawn. It's also on tomorrow's meeting. It's a budget order.
Oh, it's a budget error. Okay.
Budget order for tomorrow's
Oh,
meeting.
budget order for tomorrow's meeting?
yeah, that's a balance in the budget to use the retain
Oh,
DPW.
okay. All right. CDBG entitlement grant, $3,776,615.
Yep, Counselor, it's Kathy Bono. I have my 4 entitlements on for approval tonight. The CDBG entitlement grant, we actually was, cut this year. They took the CDBG entitlement grant to fund the earmarks. So it actually went down 4.71%, which equals about $177,000 from last year.
Kathy, I have a question for you. How did the Facebook comments come in? Because I wasn't understanding it. I went and I watched I watched you live, and I wasn't understanding how you were getting the comments on what should be done with CDBG fund. And how many did you get from that platform?
We only received 3 comments, and we got them after and responded to the people that sent the comments. And we also make it part of the plan that we send to HUD. We did receive other letters from organizations on how they'd like us, but we only received 3 comments from the Facebook.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it. It didn't seem like an effective way to get to the community and to the public at large. When I went on it, I was like, okay, so if I comment right here, are you gonna see this comment? But I went through like the communications page of Facebook. So it's kind of weird on how using that platform and how that information was gonna get out to the community broadly. Because if I didn't get pop-ups from the communication page, I would have never known you were having those sessions. Or if I didn't know to look at the city website. How would the average resident know?
So we send out about 300 letters to different individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations from our mailing list. We also advertise in newspapers that we are having the public hearing, and you can listen to it, or you can send in your comments, whether it's by email or by phone or through a letter to us.
And which newspapers did you advertise in?
The Metro, the La Voz, and the Republican.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how effective that was, but
If there's another way, Counselor, that you think we should to reach out to the
I
public.
mean, you were coming out to the public, but I know that was pre-COVID, but I would hope that you could come back out to the public again, maybe letting neighborhood councils know. Did they know?
Yes, neighborhood councils are made aware of when the meetings are. We actually get more people watching. On our average, our meetings that we used to have in person would get only, we had about anywhere from 10 to 25 people at those meetings. In our Facebook Live hearings, we get hundreds of views.
And how are the people that giving you comments addressed? Like, do they get any feedback or any update based on what they asked?
Yes, we respond to the comments, and we put those comments and our responses in our plan to HUD, and we reach out to the people and we respond to them.
Okay.
But
It just, when I was on, it was only like me for a while, and then some more people joined and I left. But for a minute, it was just me. So I was like, how many people are watching this? Like, and unless there was another way to get to it, I just didn't see. how folks
I don't know, we just get how many views from the
Mhm.
Facebook, but if in the future, if you think there's another way we could reach more people, I'd be glad to listen, or any ideas would be helpful.
Yeah, I'd be
Counselor-
glad to like, at least brainstorm how we could reach more people, because a lot of times the community development funds go out and people are like, well, how this one get it and how this one get it? And we don't really have an answer for that. I don't know if there's an application process on how folks are awarded. But that's the question that we normally get, like, how do people get access to the CDBG funds?
Counselor, we can certainly provide you a memo in terms of the outreach that was done for this year and a whole review of how many views were in, what the total commentary was, so that you can see all of that.
Okay, thank you.
And we can
And,
provide that to the entire council.
okay, and how is it decided who gets the CDBG funds? How is that decided? Is it a team?
Well, the city puts out an RFP every year during the month of February for nonprofits for the public service dollars. We advertise those RFPs in all the newspapers as well as our mailing list. And then there's a committee that ranks and makes recommendations to the mayor for the nonprofit, for the public service activities. The community development then reaches out to all the city departments and asks for their input, their requests for how they would like to see funding and what they would like to use. For example, parks, DPWs, we match a lot of Pat Sullivan's grants. They require matching funds. Chris Signoli, we fund sidewalks. So all the city departments put in requests, and then all those requests go to the mayor, and the mayor makes the final decisions. And Tim Sheehan, of course.
So who's on the committee?
The RFP for public service,
Yeah,
it was, oh shoot, let me remember. I was there, Lori Santinello, Gladys, Talia, Tom Ash. I think there's one other person. I'm sorry, I can't remember that person, but I'll get you that name.
okay. When you send over the information about views and all that, just let us also know who's on the committee, who's helping make the decisions. That'd be great.
Kath, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have provided that process in terms of
think it was
allocation of
detailed.
CDBG funds. And we can certainly provide that again as well, so that everybody understands how the funding is awarded.
I think,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think I got it, but I don't know if it was sent to the entire council.
no,
Like, I know I got spreadsheets from not last year before CDBG, and when you guys did get the ARPA CDBG, I had got those spreadsheets, but I don't know if the whole council got it.
no, they didn't. We were gonna have, I think, a subcommittee on
Oh,
CDBG.
yeah,
We never
Mhm.
did.
yeah,
So
I can't.
it was included in that documentation, exactly what we did for outreach, who was on the committees, how it's decided, et cetera. But I'd be glad to send that to you and to all the counselors if you'd
Well,
like.
we can always just reschedule the subcommittee meeting and go over it then in case counselors have additional questions. So I'll make sure to do that.
All right, let me know.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions from counselors? All right, seeing none, the home entitlement grant, $1,823,012.
Counselor, that actually went up this year. It went up by 8%. Last year was only 1.6 million. The home entitlement funds are used for, well, our most popular program is down payment, closing cost assistance at $4,000 per qualified home buyer. We also do tenant-based rental assistance, and we have project-based home ownership where we're required to put 15% of it into a single-family home. And we also do the large rental production. We have money in Knox 1 and Knox 2 buildings. We closed on the Mason Square, et cetera. So we put anywhere from 100,000 up to $500,000. We're required by the state to put in. They don't want to fund the projects until the city, not only the mayor supports them, but the city puts in dollars, puts in money. They want to see that the city has money in these projects. So our home funds are used for those projects.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember this one. We did have a subcommittee meeting
Yeah.
and went over a lot of details on that one. So any questions from counselors?
No,
Thank you. Item 7 is an order accepting Mass Gaming Commission grant contract amendment for $1,014,612.49 to reimburse police department FY23 cost of participation in gaming enforcement unit at MGM Springfield.
I think you just said it all by reading that.
I think so. That was a mouthful. So it's reimbursement for enforcement at MGM,
Exactly.
right? Okay. Any questions there? All right. HOPWA entitlement grant, $771,820.
That is the housing opportunity for persons with AIDS. That actually went up. It went up 5% from 726 to 771 this year. That is to provide support services, rental assistance to individuals and families who are dealing with AIDS. And that's regional, so we do fund it regionally.
Okay. All right, ESG entitlement grant, $332,422, no match.
That's the emergency solutions grant. That went down about $1,000. That is to fund the shelters and to help people that are in the shelters to support services and rental to get them into housing.
Okay. Any questions from counselors?
no, good program.
Yep, good program. Valley Bike Share Grant, $61,454.55.
Hi, Counselor, this is Phil Dromey. This is for the equipment purchase for a Valley Bike station at the corner of Belmont and Oakland Street, Belmont Ave and Oakland Street. I believe it's going to be located in the parking lot for the school that was constructed on the corner. The grant basically pays for the electric bikes themselves, the recharging docks, a wayfinding panel, and the actual installation of that bike share station. I'm not sure if you have any questions, but more than happy to answer them.
Could you just be a little more specific about where it's going to be?
Well, again, I believe it's going to be on the corner of Belmont and Oakland, where there used to be an old commercial building there that was torn down and is now the parking lot for Forest Park Middle School.
Okay.
I believe they're gonna create a little pad for it to be located right there.
Are they helping the students?
Yeah, the students, you're kind of right in the middle there between the supermarket, the library, the
Yeah,
schools. And again, the goal of the bike share was, we started in the downtown with 10 or so bike share stations, and the goal is to extend these out. We're installing them up along State Street. We're trying to get a couple into Indian Orchard, and this one will go to Forest Park. So we're trying to get the whole, the bike share system citywide.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions from counselors? All right, seeing none. We already did this free cash one, so I guess we can go into executive session. Counselor Letterman, is there any specific wording that needs to be read?
Madam Chair, I think just the wording as it appears on the agenda. And
Okay.
then because you are not intending to return, once you get onto the executive link and finish your business there, you can adjourn directly from there. You don't have to come back here.
Okay, all right. So we'll go into executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property known as 22 Bruce Landing Way, East Court Street, where the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, not to reconvene in open session.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
are you sure we did number 11?
Yeah, when we talked about free cash, we talked about all of it at the same time. And they said that was to talk about what we're going into executive session for. That's what that funding is used for.
Okay,
And
right.
for friendlies on Sumner.
all right.
Friendlies parking lot. Zeta, Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wasn't sure. I came in late, so I apologize first of all for that. And I wanted to know if this might be the time to talk about free cash for property taxes for our residents next year, or is this not the time?
We talked about the free cash probably right before you joined, so that would have been the time, but we can still talk about it. We can still talk about it in regular session, and then if you want to send it to committee to discuss further, we can do that.
Okay, yes, please, because I want, our residents need help.
There's 6 million, I think, allocated for Zeta.
For
No,
property
it's
taxes,
3.5 million. It's
Yeah,
3.5.
2.5 for 1 year and 3.5 for the next.
yeah, and I guess my question to that would be exactly how much money is going to be saved out of each resident's property taxes?
So for FY 23, it's 3.5 million, and for FY 24, it's 2.5 million. But even with the 3.5 million, the property tax will still increase by about 17 million. So
Okay,
that is something to discuss.
So then we need definitely to talk about that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam
All right,
Chair.
Yes.
Just on your executive session, you just need a vote. You do have to have a vote of the.
Oh, we
voting
need a
members of
vote?
the Committee. Correct.
Okay. So can we please have a vote to go into executive session?
So
And-
moved.
Okay.
It would just be
Second.
by the members of the Finance Committee.
Oh, the finance committee. So that's Tim and Zeta.
So moved.
Tim, do you agree?
Yeah, second.
Okay, oh, thank you. So we, all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll move to executive session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.